Obviously, we all have to talk. We all have to communicate with each other. But, how much? And, this muscle that is between the two jaws, so to speak, is a muscle that never tires. You see people, no matter how old they are, they might not be able to walk, they might not be able to lift up their hands, they might not be able to do anything, but this muscle seems never to stop. It is reported on the authority of Hazrat Anas radiallahu ta'ala that the Prophet of Allah sallallahu ta'ala sallam said that the faith of a servant is not put right until his heart is put right. And his heart is not put right until his tongue is put right. Allahu Akbar. My dear Islam brothers and viewers of Madani Channel, this shows that the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala sallam has said that the purification, to have a pure faith, is conditional on the purification of the heart. And the purification of the heart is conditional on the purification of the tongue, the control of the tongue. But nowadays we speak and we don't even realize what we're speaking. We don't care about what we speak. We speak without thinking. There's a saying in English, we don't put our brains into gear before we use our tongues. And unfortunately, we utter things that maybe later we regret as well. It is narrated on the authority of Sayyidina Ibn Umar, do not talk excessively without remembering Allah Azza wa Jal, because such excessive talk without the mention of Allah Azza wa Jal causes the heart to harden. And the person furthest from Allah Azza wa Jal is a person with a hard heart. This again, we need to make a habit of doing the zikr of Allah Azza wa Jal. Yes, we're not saying, complete kufr Medina, don't speak forever. We need to speak, but we need to, use this muscle in the right way. We need to speak in the right way. We need to use these blessings that Allah Azza wa Jalla has given us. Allah Azza wa Jalla has blessed us so much that He's given me hands that I can move in front of you. Now He's given me eyes that I can look at the screens in front of me, look at the cameras in front of me. He's given you eyes that you can see me. He's given me ears and you ears that we can hear things. And He's given us a tongue that we can speak with. But unfortunately, how do we use these? Do we use these in the correct manner? Do my hands, do I use my hands to work in a halal way? Do I use my ears to listen to those things that I should be listening to and refrain from those things that I should not be listening to? Do I use these eyes to only look at those things that I should look at and refrain from looking at those things that I should look at? Do I use this tongue in the correct manner? Do I use it to recite the Quran? Do I use it to do the zikr of Allah Azza wa Jal? Or do I use it in ghibat, in chugli, in gossiping, in backbiting, in committing all these things that I'll be held accountable for on the Day of Judgment? And all these sins, these are the sins that, on that day, what am I going to do? These are the sins I'm going to be held accountable for. So we need to look at these blessings that Allah Azza wa Jalla has given us. And we all, we probably know people who are not as fortunate as we are, that they don't have the hear sight. They cannot hear, they cannot see, they cannot speak. This is a blessing, and yet we're abusing these blessings. These are blessings from Allah Azza wa Jalla. We need to remember this first and foremost, that all of these are blessings from Allah Azza wa Jalla. Allah Azza wa Jalla has blessed us with this tongue. Now the question is, how do we use this tongue? It's narrated by Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu ta'ala that a person who talks too much is a person who often makes mistakes. And a person who often makes mistakes often has the wrong actions. And the fire has a priority over such a frequent sinner. Allahu Akbar. So basically, what Sayyidina Hazrat Umar Farooq radiallahu anhu is saying to us there is that those who control their tongues, they commit less sins or make less mistakes. Gosh, I wish that, first and foremost, I could be like that I could think more before I speak. And I pray to Allah Azza wa Jalla that we all think more before we speak, because thinking without speaking can cause problems. The Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said, shall I not tell you how to control all of that? Okay. How do you control yourself? And the Sahaba Karam said, yes, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, yes, do, O Messenger of Allah. So he held his tongue between his fingers and he said, restrain this, restrain this. And the Sahaba, the companion of the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I said, O Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, are we going to be held accountable for what we say? He sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, may your mother be bereft by your loss. Is there anything more than the harvest of the tongues that throws people on their faces, or he said on their noses, into the fire? And you know, the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saying that this tongue, this muscle between your two jaws, this thing that's inside our mouth, this is the thing, this is the most important thing that could make a difference on the Day of Judgment. This is the difference that could keep us out of the hellfire and keep us in the gardens of paradise. It is narrated that when here we mention the harvest of the tongues, what is meant here by the harvest of the tongues, the ulama ikram have said that it is the punishment for saying forbidden things. A man through his actions and words sows the seeds of either good or evil. On the day of resurrection, he harvests their fruits. Those who sow the seeds of good words and good deeds harvest honor and blessings. And those who sow the seeds of evil words and bad deeds reap only regret and remorse. In another hadith, the Prophet of Allah ﷺ said to his companions, what mostly causes people to be sent to the fire are the two openings, the mouth and the private parts.
We love Madani Channel. We love Madani Channel. We love Madani Channel.